Hi, good morning. This is Joanne Hewins with lovetocreate.typepad.com, and today I'm going to share with you how to make this bag. You know, celebration has been going on. It's winding down in the last few days here, and you probably have made some orders, and you are probably thinking, I just love that paper. I'd love to have another pack of so-and-so paper, the beautifully pinned or the Peaceful Prints, I think it is, or the Penguin Playmates. But what in the world am I going to do with all this paper? Maybe you already have a couple of packs of beautifully pinned or a few packs of Penguin Playmates. Maybe you love the Peaceful Prints, but what are you going to do? So today I have a bag that we're going to make. Here it is. It is a 6 across. It is 7 down, the finished bag, and then 3 inches across. So you can see it's a pretty good size gift bag. And I think it's a beautiful bag. And the thing about it is you can make your own Christmas bags. You can use up this paper that you've accumulated. You might even decide, hey, I need to make another order and get me some more of that paper. And you want to do that before the end of September. So this bag takes 2 12 by 12 sheets of paper. I don't have this same print to use with you today, but I'm going to pull in these beautiful trees, and we're going to decorate it the same. We'll just use a different print. So I'm going to need my Simply Scored. So I'm going to bring that in. And I'm going to turn this so I'm scoring at the top of my paper. You can see this is a directional paper. And I'm going to score at 2 inches across the top, and then I'm going to turn it and score the other 3 sides at 3 inches. So turn and score at 3, turn and score at 3, turn and score at 3. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the second sheet. So I'm going to turn it first to the top of this, and I'm going to do my 2 inches, and then we'll turn it and do 3 inches, turn it and do 3 inches, and turn it again and do the 3 inches. This way at Christmas, you are going to have a bag that nobody else has, and they're going to a little jealous that you are so crafty and so good at everything. So let's take our bone folder, and the smaller score line, the 2 score line, is going to go in this way. It's going to give us a lip of a different pattern around the top of our bag, and then these others will actually go back like this. So we'll do that. We'll do this one. And you may not be able to see the score lines so well, but we'll get them burnished with our bone folder, and you'll be able to see everything. So I've burnished all of the lines on this one. I'm going to bring in this one, and we'll do the same thing. We're going to go toward the back with this one. This one is going to go this way. Because we're forming the outside of the bag, so you're going to put the 2 sides together to make a whole bag. Okay, so we'll go ahead and do that. And then this one will go, this is the bottom, and it will go this way. All right, so for each of these, I am going to trim up my snips. I'm going to trim up on one of these and actually cut out the whole square down here. This is the bottom. And then we'll do the same for over here. So up to the score line, and then we're just going to completely cut out this piece. Now on the other part, we're going to do it a little differently. Let me pull in this. We're going to trim up to the score line, but we're going to leave that little piece on. So I'm just going to trim this one up and leave the piece on. Okay, so that's our trimming. Now I'm going to come over here and with my glue, I'm just going to adhere this little lip down. And then I'll pull this other one in and do the same thing with the lip. Okay. And I really didn't need to put that glue along that seam right there, so I'll just leave it this way. All right, so we're ready to put our bag together. Now, we are going to have, this is just a piece of thicker cardboard. It's the backing that comes in the regular designer series paper. So in this pack of paper, you would have gotten one of these. And I'm going to put this here. This measures 2 7/8 by 5 7/8. But I will link this to the blog post on YouTube. And I'm just going to reinforce the bottom of the bag. So I'm going to glue this down. And add that there. And this is going to be covered up. They won't see it. It's just going to add a little bit of strength down there in the bottom. And then this piece, the second piece, is going to come in and be glued there. And you can kind of see how the bag is going to come together after that. So what I'm going to do, though, I'm going to take away this piece with the cutouts, and we are going to go ahead and decorate the front of the bag. It's easier that way. Ask me how I know. From decorating the first one, I thought, gosh, that would have been so much easier to do before I put the bag together. So we're going to start off putting on our black trees. And I have cut the trees out using the Inspiring Canopy dies. So I'm using one of the other longer pieces for the snow in just a moment. But let me show you that for this, I've already run it through my machine. But for this, I put some of the adhesive sheets on the back of this. This is going to make it easier to adhere everything, and you'll be glad you did. Now, I tell you, I sometimes have a love-hate relationship with the adhesive sheets, so I'll either have a good time with it or who knows. But in the long run, they really are good. So I'm going to use, this is the old roller we used to have, and I'm going to use that to get out some of the inside parts here, making a mess. Okay. And I'm hoping that some of that will also come off when I pull off the adhesive. I just wanted to get some of that out if I could. All right, and then I'm going to just kind of move that out of the way, move some of these pieces out of the way, and I'm just going to trim right here and get it so I can pull this out. Okay, so there's my my trees. And I don't know if you noticed, I'm kind of a fanatic about scraps. I kept some of these that came between the trees because sometimes I just need to do a little black something and it'll have that adhesive on the back, and that will be useful if I can remember to use it. Okay, and I think I am going to just kind of push a couple of these bigger pieces out. And get them off and away. Okay, that's not everything. We'll see if the adhesive takes off some of that as it goes. So you can see this is divided into pieces, and that will make it easier to just pull off bits at a time. Okay. And we'll be ready to do, let me move that a little bit out of the way. And it did pull off a few of those little pieces. Get that. Okay, and then we'll get this little part here. Okay, and looking back at this, I've got a little piece right there and a piece there. Right. So I'm going to put this here in the center of the bag. And before I press that down well, I am going to bring in, I have a piece of basic white that is 6 by, I think I did 1 3/4, 6 by 1 3/4 that I want to be my snow. And I want to make sure it's going to cover up that piece. Okay. And I did use, this is also from the Inspiring Canopy as part of the dies that we're using. Okay, so I'm going to put this down here in the corner. I'm going to clip off this little bit of tree there. Do away with that. Might be easier said than done. It's stuck to my fingers. And I'm seeing that I've cut this just a little larger than I need. I don't have a trimmer with me, so I'm just going to trim up the side of that. Okay, so that's going to go there. I'm going to go ahead and push my trees down. Wasn't that an easy way to adhere the trees using the adhesive sheet? Now, if I had my trimmer, I would probably trim this a little thinner than it is, but I'm just going to go ahead and glue that down. In the corner. And I am using the score lines, if I'm not sure you can see them that well, but I am using the score lines to help me know where to put the front of my bag. Okay, we are ready for some deer. So let me bring in the Deer Builder Punch. This is in the mini catalog that's live now. And I want to punch out a deer. Now, I don't know if you've noticed this or not, but this paper isn't conducive to using very many deer. You have to use the one that is going back this way. So I'm going to cut across my paper here. So I can do that, but you can see there's really only 1, 2, 3, 4 that I can get out of this piece of paper. So I'm going to go ahead, and I think it's the other piece I need, and punch out my deer. And you're just going to make sure you get that little white as even around the deer as you think you can. And I always think it makes me look like I'm nervous when I'm doing something like this. And punch. And isn't he cute? Okay, but you know what? I did a little research and I found a way that we can use our punch to cut out this one even though it's going the opposite direction. So what I'm going to do is just kind of cut this one out a little bit. Okay. And I have a piece of typing paper that I've cut at 3 by 6. And I'm going to take my typing paper and match my corners and fold this. And now I have a 3 by 3 piece. I'm going to bring my punch in, and I'm going to punch the deer. Okay, so I have that. And now I'm going to bring this, I'm going to turn all of this around, and I'm going to put this deer in here so that I have him exactly the way I want him, with the white trim around most of the deer. And when I get that fixed, it's not exactly it. Okay, I'm having a little trouble here getting that lined up. I think that might do it. I'm going to lay this down, and I'm going to get just a piece of Scotch tape, and I'm going to put this down to hold that deer in place. I might even put a little piece here because I want to hold it in the right position. So I've got my folded 3 by 6. I punched and made the punch. I took a deer facing the wrong way and I lined it up with the back of my fold. So now I'm ready to punch. And what I'm going to do is pull this in. And I want to line up the deer so that you can't see any of the white. Okay, you see? Okay, I'm going to punch. And here's my deer facing the other way with the white around. I loved that. I saw someone else do it. Now, if you're careful about how you pull things through, you can use a pattern more than once, but there's a lot of little things to get it caught on, and you may just end up needing to cut a couple of patterns. I think I'm going to tear that one up. There it goes. Getting it out. But I do have some extra pieces. Let me get all that out of there. Get some of the extras out of there. And we're ready to go. So again, that little tip was to take a 6x3 piece of typing paper, fold it in half, punch out the deer, out of that, remove it carefully, and then you're going to line up the deer. Let me get another one. We'll just do it twice. So let me cut that one out. And we're going to line it up with this side. Work with it until you get your white all the way around. Like that. Okay. Add a little bit of tape to hold in place. Then turn it over and do your punching. Actually, I think I'm working with the one that actually it would punch out anyway. Anyway, it would be actually the other one. Okay, now I feel bad, so we're going to have to get a different one. Okay, so let me, sorry about that. Okay, so now we have one that we are going to line up with this side. Okay. Well, I thought I could just show you quickly, and it's not turning out that way, but maybe you needed to see some mess up to know what to do. Okay, and then we'll turn it over to this side. Slip that in, hopefully. So I did have a little bent part. Now you're going to line it up so you can't see any of those white. Punch, and there's your deer. And I'll just clean out my punch a little bit later so we can get on with this. Okay, so the other thing that I wanted to show you is that some of the snowflakes that are on this paper can be cut out with a die, and that die is the So Many Snowflakes that's in the annual catalog. It's this small one right here, and I cut out a couple of the snowflakes from this paper. So you can do that as well. So I cut out this one, that's this one, and I also cut out this one with the dies. There you go. And you might even be able to cut out a couple of others. But I thought that was also a good tip that I had seen someone pass along. So for my saying, I'm going to be using the Christmas to Remember stamp set and Real Red, and I'm going to just be using some scraps of a paper for this. In fact, this is, well, it's just a scrap I had left over. And this is actually the thick paper, but you certainly would not have to use the thick. And this says Merry Christmas. And I am one of those people who like to fussy cut. So I'm just going to cut around my Merry Christmas. I like to do this. It doesn't have to be perfect by any means. Now you can take your time and actually really get close to the letters and make it look super, super, super great. I'm okay with this. It makes me happy. I'll throw in a little wiggle here and there on that side. Not much. Right, so we're ready to finish assembling. And I'm going to put a little bit of glue on my Merry Christmas. And that's going to go across here. A little bit of glue. I'm not going to use all three, dear. A little bit of glue here, sparingly. You don't want it oozing out. But this deer is going to be over here. Oops. And then we'll put a little bit more glue on this one sparingly. It's going to go over here. And then I'm going to add my snowflakes with glue dots. Now, I'm going to tell you that I just opened a new mini glue dots, and I'm noticing that the dots are on the opposite side, and I was really, really struggling with using those, and I realized I had seen at one time someone using just a ribbon tied around, and that way you can just pull and you get your glue dot one at a time. And I'm finding this has been a time saver for me. So I'm going to take my Take Your Pick tool, and we're just going to add the snowflakes to the back. And then one more thing that we're going to add to this is the Red Rhinestone Basic Jewels. So I'm going to add those just in the center of each snowflake. Now I am liking this the green bag here with the trees. I'm liking that a lot. So that's the front of our bag all decorated, and we are ready to put together. So let me bring in the other half of my paper, and I'm going to put this piece on top here. So let me glue that up. There we go. Okay, and you do want to kind of match that up. Okay, now another thing that I want to point out is that for the front of the bag, you want these pieces folded back so that everything's neat. So I'm going to do, actually, probably should have decorated the other one first. So I was trying to figure out how am I going to make that. Okay. See if I can do this. I'm going to glue So if I do this again, I'm going to decorate the one that has the cutouts rather than the whole one. Okay, and I'm going to put this piece right here on the inside so that I'll have, I'm sorry, that fold here. So I'm going to put my glue here, if that makes any sense. And I'm going to pull it on the inside. And I'm going to put this down and kind of press inside. So I made it work, but it would have been easier to decorate the side that had the cutouts. Remember on the first one that I made, I decorated it after I put it together. And that's why I didn't know that. Okay, so I'm going to do this piece on the inside of my bag. Oops, I hope I didn't get my head in there just then. Okay. And I don't know how this video is going to work, if you're going to be able to see. I'm just pressing that down. And then I'm going to put my glue on this one and try to work it to the back. Might be a little awkward. Yep, just a little awkward, but not too bad. And so I'm going to lay this down and just press down. Okay, so there you go. There's the back, and we need to add our ties. So I'm bringing in a crocodile, and I'm just going to first of all mark my spaces. So I decided where I wanted my holes to go, and I just did that on a tiny Post-it note. I'm going to use my marker, and I'm going to turn that on the back. Just hold that in place. And I'm just going to put a little dot there. And I'm going to do the same on the back. Okay. And then I'm going to use a crocodile. This is retired. I guess you can still find these. And for my first bag, I used the larger hole, but I'm going to use the smaller hole. I think that's better. And I'm just going to be looking for my dot. I'm not so sure that my lighting in here is good enough to see the dot. I'm going to go for, hopefully I'm close. Okay. And then we'll do this side. Okay. So there's our holes. And I thought for this that I would use the black and white check. I just thought that would look so cute together. I'm going to measure about 15 inches for each side of this. I just love this ribbon. I bought a bunch at the very beginning, and I did notice, I think it might be on back order, but I'm sure it'll be back. So I'm going to stick this in through the hole. See if I can catch it on the back. There. Okay, and I'm going to tie a knot fact, I'm going to tie another knot on top of that one, I think, to make it a little bit thicker. Well, I've got, okay, we'll try again. Coordination is not my strong suit. Okay, I think that maybe has a big enough knot that it will come through. Okay, so I'm going to trim that a little bit. Now, if you're not so sure, you might could take a piece of tape and just put that over the knot. If you're not so sure that's going to hold. Okay, and then we'll do the same on this side. We'll tie some knots. There. I thought I had those together. I'm going to need to tie again. I feel like I'm wasting your time here. Okay, so there's my knot that's a little bit larger. I'm going to trim that. And so here is the tie on this side. And of course you would do the tie on the other side the exact same way. So I think I won't make you sit through that again. Let me bring in the other bag. And which one do you like best? Oh, tell me which one you like. Being a green person, I like the green one the best, but what do you think? So this is a great way for you to get ready for Christmas and use some of this free celebration paper that you have gotten. And you might decide you need to put in another order and get a little bit more before it's gone. The celebration only goes through September 30th. If you do need supplies, I wish you would consider me. I am at lovetocreate.typepad.com, and I really would appreciate your purchases. Thanks so much for watching today, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.